Okay, what we're going to talk about today is my experiences with AEPs. Now, I already talked about my one AEP, my TM Mac 10, but what I have to add on to that, and I will show a picture too, is the upgrades that I did to it. I put a stock kit on it, I put a front end kit on it, I actually did a battery mod to it, various other things, and I will show a couple of pictures of that, the gun itself and the gun in the case, how I have it. I actually bought some more mags. I also went out and JG had a Mac 10 as well, and I bought Boneyard ones, those. I actually fixed one up, shoots about the same FPS, a little bit less than the TM. Not as good hop up, but it went really well on the upgrade. I'll show a picture of that one too at the end. And I also bought two other Boneyard versions that just for parts. I got extra mags, high caps of course, and the extra silencers, the screw-on silencers and caps. And I used a lot of different parts back and forth, the mags of course, and other things. And the gun, like I said, was shooting 280 with 2.0s. And with the little front kit that I added on there, I maybe saw 1 or 2 FPS change, sound change of course. The stock made it a little bit more stable, bringing it up to your shoulder. But I also got some various front ends for it that I could use and things like that. Real steel stuff that I was finding from a location that was selling machine guns. I'm going to show those pictures right now. My next AEP was TM MP7. Now I thought everybody's bragging about this. This is the best thing since sliced bread. But like the Mac 10, it was a very good gun, shot very well with 2.0s, but I only had like 265 FPS. Now they're saying on the websites it gets 280. Mine only got 265 with 2.0s. Now granted that had the 7.2 NIM battery in it, which I swapped out for an external battery with the battery kit and put an 8.4 on it. And yeah, my rate of fire went from 14 to 20, which was great, but it still only shot 265 with 2.0s. So when I would go and use it at an arena, indoor arena, the same thing would happen. I would get outshot. Now, you got to remember, this is back in 2008. HPA was just coming out, and you might have run into some people with HPA, or maybe it wasn't out then, I'm not quite sure, but the guns that I was running into were AEGs, and when you're shooting a gun with 2.0s or 2.5s, and you're only shooting 265 to a 2.0s, and you're going up against a gun like a cheapo Saima Spetsnaz, which was like $200 or less, that's shooting like right on the like 350 with 2.0s, they're out shooting me. Just because their BBU's traveling a little bit faster to me. I might have accuracy if they didn't see me, I could peck them, but normally I was getting hit quite a bit. Now, what I did is I created a rig because I had so many, I bought a crap load of MP7 mags, and I will show a picture of my box with it. When I originally bought the gun, I bought so many mags, and then I just started buying mags, because, of course, again, these are 50-round mags. They did have a high cap version, I think. I don't remember. I'd have to look at the gun. But I remember having the rig, and I was buying MP7 pouches, and I had 3 and 3. I had 6, and I had a couple in my backpack, and I had one in the gun, and I had my pistol on and things like that. And I was just running around with all that weight, and I really didn't get the idea behind less is more. You run around with 3 mags, be more conservative with your shots, and you're better off instead of running around with all this weight on. And I never went through all 7 mags or the ones I had in my backpack. I went through 1, 2, maybe 3 mags during a game, if that. So I had to get that perspective down. Let me show you the pictures of the MP7 that I got. Now, after watching a couple of movies, I saw a Scorpion. That's the CZ or ZC or ZCZ. No, Z70, Z61. I don't know if I'm getting that right. Anyway, Scorpion. So at the time, I found a JG Scorpion And I grabbed it up and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And I'm like, I don't know what the website says it's supposed to shoot, but mine only shot 180 FPS. I chronoed it with 2.0s, tried all different things, and it had that goofy 7.2 battery in the stock, or in the grip. So the first upgrade I did for that was to wire that to JST ends and put a little micro 7.4 in it later down the road. Of course, when I was using the 7.2 on it, 180, or 100, yeah, 185 FPS with 2.0. So shorter barrel, that little goofy gearbox that was in it that like didn't have a lot of snot to it. Now I think some of the websites listed as 200, 220, and the one site listed at like 300 or something like that, but that's what 12s, and like who shoots 12s? So anyway, that was the upgrade I did on that. I put the LiPo battery in it and it shot well. But of course I was getting outranged. So I went out and I bought another JG Boneyard and a Well Boneyard. And the reason that I bought the Boneyard ones was my JG was working great. It came with a drum mag and a mag. Well, the other JG I bought that was Boneyard, that come with a drum mag and a regular mag. Then I bought the Well, and that came with 2 mags. So now I have 4 mags and 2 drum mags. I thought I'll never run out of BBs, which, you know, for that low of a pistol, it's fun. In the one game that I had that I was in, because my gun shot under 200 FPS, they were allowing us to shoot full auto with our guns that shot under 200 FPS. I was with a couple other guys that had LPEGs that were shooting like 200 some, or under 200, and we were shooting full auto, getting everybody pissed off because they're saying, no shooting full auto, but I had the little tag on mine that said I could shoot full auto, and when they saw what it was, no problems. But the gun, I got outranged, outshot. I go to pull a pistol, and by the time mine goes to shoot, I would get hit by a gas blowback or an AEG, single fire. Now, the LiPo mod made it shoot a little faster, which was good, but that was down the road, and when I originally was using it, I was using it with that 7.2, and that came with a NIM, 7.2 NIM in the pistol grip. So that worked out because I got 3 batteries with the Boneyard guns, because you would use it and it would die, you'd swap it out, bang, throw another one in, and I lost the bottom off my original JG, which then I had 2 bottoms, and I eventually put a thing around it so I couldn't lose it, and I actually sold one of the bottoms, or gave it, I think I gave it away to one of my other teammates that lost the bottom off his Scorpion. But it was an awesome gun, and I'm going to show a couple of pictures of that along with the Boneyard boxes that I bought. Now after that, I got sort of disillusioned with the AEPs. They just didn't have the snot, and like I know from what I was buying, I'm like, oh, the last one was under 200. Even though the MP7 was okay, it was still under 300. I wasn't getting it out there, and I'm like, okay, it's fun, but I'm never going to use it on a regular basis. So I said, I got my AEGs. I ain't going to worry about a pistol. Well, the first, and being in northeastern Pennsylvania, it's cold up here, snow, the whole 9 yards. Taking a gas pistol out in the snow, everybody knows they'll either like low FPS or they'll die on you. And believe it or not, if it's cold enough, even my CO2 was having issues. It's out in the cold, even the CO2 was having some problems. Like we had 0, -5 degrees, we're out playing like idiots, and you're wondering why your stuff is going bad. Now at the time I didn't have that many CO2 pistols. I had a lot of gas blowbacks, and like my KWA 1911, and I bought a couple other gas pistols, and they just like were dying. So I decided, on advice from a friend, to look at a CYMA CM030. I got it, and I'm like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. But the same thing, the original batteries that came with them were NiCads. Down the road, they changed them over to NIMs, but the original one that I got had a NiCad battery in it that you had to discharge, which was a pain in the butt. If you didn't discharge it, it had memory, and then it would die after a while. So on one of the overseas sites, I saw this big ad for a TM Pro Light. You hook it up to the TM Glocks, of course, electric, the electric Glocks that they were selling, or the G18s, or you could put it on the Cyma 030s, CM30s, and run this Pro Light, which was an 1100 mAh battery with a light. So if you didn't use the light, you still had an 1100 mAh battery. So I found one on one site, bought it. It was like $100 and some dollars. It's lots of money. And I found it on another site. It was like $120 on another site. So I bought two of them. I bought a second CM30 and modded both of them with the battery mod to put them in and put the Pro Light on. And just so you guys can get an idea of what the Pro Light looks like, that is a Pro Light on this CM30. Actually has a light that with a little press button, like when you can press it down with your thumb when you're holding and fire. Now, granted, this one is an upgraded one, so I had two CM30s. I went out and I thought, I'm always going to need parts. I bought another Boneyard one. Found another site, they were selling them for like half of nothing. I bought another Boneyard one. Got a lot of mags, different things with it. So, me being the person that I am, I started tinkering with the one. I got it working. Started tinkering with the second Boneyard one that I got it working. Now I have 4 CM30s. I had 2 with Pro Lights, and I actually modded 2 other ones to take the mini 7.4 lipos in them like this. And for example, here's one here modded that has the battery inside. I don't know if you see the wires there, but has the battery inside and has a silencer on it. Actually has a light as well, and it has the bigger mags you can put in, or you can put the little ones in like this. Anyway, I digress. Same thing with these though. The CM30s were 200 FPS. Granted, like, that's with 2.0s. Granted, these things sailed out BBs 150 feet. I was shocked. People saw me shooting and they're like, "What are you shooting with?" And I'm like, "Electric pistol." And they couldn't get over that. I bring this one out, and I usually take the silencer and the light off because I really don't need that for games. I do have a holster that fits this whole mess. And I actually have a couple of these little grenade launcher things. I got this one that shoots a shell with 6 BBs, and I got a Zoxna one that shoots like 40 BBs. They're really fun to have on the end of the gun. They give you like that little added thing. You come around a corner, pile of people, shoot the grenade at them, get a bunch of people. The big thing that I found though, that with the 7.4 mod or even the Pro Light, you weren't getting any more FPS. You were getting higher rate of fire, which is fine. You know, it's got a pretty good snap. And I eventually wired 3 of these to the JST ends. This is the only remaining pistol that I have that still has the battery mod in it, that runs the wire down to the TM Pro Light. And I have an original Pro Light that works. You charge it up, it lasts for about a half hour or so when you're shooting, and then it dies. This one is an upgraded Pro Light that I have the charging cable sticking out. I just have a piece of tape to hold it in place so it don't go flying around. And it gives it a pretty good rate of fire. See? So I'm like, it's awesome for what it does. I don't know if that translates over to the video. So this has an incredible rate of fire, and on semi, pretty good trigger response. Still only shooting 200 FPS with 2.0s. Now, I took these with the 50. I'm saying these are 50 round mags. Some guy said they're 100. If they're 100, that's fine. They might be 100 because these are 20. These are 26 rounds. These metal ones, and this one goes down and around here. So there's 26. I'd say these are 50 rounds. 50 rounds. I have 2 of these 50 rounds, In the two pistols, dual wielding, I had a blast. Because shooting double, or even being able to cover 2 doors, was awesome. And they were electric pistols. This one with the Pro Light, this one with the 7.4 battery. I carry an extra little battery with me in my pocket. I could change it on the field and nothing flat. Add that to the grenade launcher you could put on the front of this. I usually went with the light, because to like dual light somebody up, let me see if I can do it. Dual light somebody up, they get a little confused what's going on. The light in here takes a rechargeable CR123. That's another thing I went with. I did not want to be replacing those batteries, buying those CR123s, so I got a charger, bought the CR123 rechargeable batteries. I have a couple of them, bang slam, and ready to go. To charge this gun, I have a charger for this. It's a like a balance charger, but a little one, like a $20 one. Plug the thing in, 10 minutes, charge up, ready to go. I can actually bring it to the field, plug in the arena, and it's good to go. One other thing that I want to mention is, and I saw this mod online, is I had a whole bunch of carry handles. Every time I'd get an M4, I'd have a carry handle. And usually I would take it off, put the optics on, and I had like 3 or 4 carry handles laying around. So the one gentleman said to me, he said, if you have a couple of rails from the carry handles, he said, put one together like this. And he said, okay, what do you do with that? I said, you take this, and it clips on the top of this Sima. You find 2 holes that it fits on, right there. And then you can clip this underneath on a gun. All right, I have an MP5. I'm going to try to do that just so you see. Now I'm using this MP5, and it's not really conducive because the mag on the MP5 goes forward and it would be in the way. But if you have a gun with a long rail, you now have a forward grip that's actually a pistol that you can then fire at an enemy, close range enemy, and use your regular AG, or double fire. You put a 50 round mag in here, you got a 110 round mag here, you could double fire 2 BBs coming out at somebody. It's a real good mod, and it actually works out with this particular pistol because it has a rail kit on it that puts a rail on the top for an optic. How this would work on other pistols, if it has a rail on the top, you might be able to make this little rail setup and put a pistol underneath your favorite gun. Now, one of the things with the MP5, listen to me, the CM30 that I like, it has a functioning safety, which locks the trigger that you can't pull it, and the safety goes up. On the Glock, this would be the teardown to take the top off, but this side here is the safety. Selectable to full auto as well. Now, and simplistic, it has a little gearbox that's in the pistol grip, and it has a very small barrel in it. And I think that is the issue with this particular gun. It just doesn't have that many upgrades. I've seen people tear them apart, new barrels, new buckings, tear the gearbox apart, put in different gear sets and a little bit stronger spring, and it goes from 200 to maybe like 230. I've seen one guy said he got 250 out of it. Okay, I don't know if it would pull it back like that, but anyway, one guy said 220, 230. And of the 4 pistols that I had, I've actually sold 2. Of the 4 pistols I had, the one Boneyard one that I had a tore up gearbox. I mean, you'd pull the trigger and it'd go, and I open it up and the gears are just shredded in a mess. I looked at buying the gear set, and the gear set plus the shipping was like 35 bucks. I went online and I bought a whole complete gearbox for 35 bucks. Shipped to me. So I actually just slipped the gearbox, and these are easy to put the gearbox in. I just slip the gearbox in, bang slams your uncle, it's shooting 200 FPS again, works like a champ. So the 2 Boneyard one, and actually this is the one with the new gearbox in it. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. This is the one with the new gearbox in it. This is the original, one of the original ones that I bought, still going strong, and I've sold the 2 other ones that I had. These work phenomenal. I like them as a sidearm, just for the fact that if it's cold, you run out of gas, you can't shoot. This one here, it has a battery. Takes me seconds. You can carry one of these in your pocket. Takes me a second to transfer this battery and put a new battery in. Also, what I've done is I've made a JST to Tamiya converter. On this particular model here, JST plug is there. I can take this off this light, which I will do, and there is a little bracket right here that pops up, and I can actually run this JST thing up through and plug into the battery, and then I can put a regular AEG or a LiPo, 7.4 LiPo, just tie it fast to the gun, and now I'm ready to rock and roll again, just in case your micro batteries die on you. It was just a little mod that I did so that I could keep going with the guns. They were a lot of fun. Right now the Cyma 30s are hard to get. I'm going to show a picture right now of the 30s that I have and the setups and how they look. Okay, last follow-up is, after I got done with all these, I thought they have to have other pistols, AEPs. Now, Well had an Uzi, JG had an Uzi. They all shot sub 200, like 180 FPS. They're nice looking. And I bought them for a steal. And I'm going to show a couple of pictures of them after this. But they just never did it for me. The two Uzis were nice. I did the battery mods to them. They were shot great, good rate of fire, but they're only shooting sub 200. And they were sort of big, clunky, the mags were long. And I'm like, my Mac 10 shoots better than these, and they're big, and the Uzis, and I'm like, eh. I also bought, on a lark again, a little Well, or actually it was a Double Eagle, little mini Uzi. Took 4 AAA batteries. Well, I used that when I was a ref down in the arena to shoot people to make sure they're calling their hits. And this thing would go zzz-ting, zzz-ting, and I mean it shot like 110 FPS. And even on full auto it was like jik-ting, 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 like that, really slow, winding up, getting going. Never wanted to mod it or do anything because I'm like, that was pretty bad. But it was an awesome gun where I was shoot somebody. If they were saying to me that so-and-so player wasn't calling his hits, I would follow that player, and instead of watching the player, because sometimes watching BBs in the dark you don't see him hit or not hit, but if I shot the guy in the back and his hand went up, I would tag him and say, stay right in, you're right here, keep going, I just tested to see if you're calling your hits. A lot of people got a charge out of that I would shoot him with that little micro Uzi. And when I would come to a player and shoot him in the back, wouldn't call it, I'd shoot him again, wouldn't call it, I'd shoot him a third time, still didn't call it. Usually by the second time I would call him out, but if he didn't call it, if I was generous and I let him go one more shot, I would then call him out, and I would go over and tag the guy and say, you're out, you got hit. And he's like, I didn't feel it, I said, which is the problem? You're not feeling the hit, so go back to spawn, come back in. Usually people were pretty good-natured about it. It kept the game going, and it was a lot of fun. My next forte, I'm gonna show those pictures first, and then I'll go into the other spot of all the other goofy Uzis and stuff that I bought. this video is probably getting a little bit long, so I'm going to try to cut it down. I was finding stuff on eBay in the boneyard section. CM121, CM123, CM125, and that is respectively, I don't know which is which, but that's an M9, that's a 1911, and that is actually a Desert Eagle 50 caliber. All of these were boneyards. One way or another they didn't work. And the ironic part is that the two of them, the M9 and the 1911, both took these metal style mags. So that was pretty good with that. The only one that didn't take the regular mags was the, I think it's the CM125, or no, it's the CM121 is the Desert Eagle. That one there, I always shot like 210, 215. It actually shot that much more. It was a bigger body gun, had a little bit longer barrel. I don't know, and all the other ones shot just at 200. The 1911 and the M9, they both shot around 200. I did mods on them to do JSTNs, put the micro batteries in them. Worked great. But they shot 200, of sub 200, which you saw the video, you saw the postings on their site, and they're saying, oh, it shoots like 290, and I'm like, with 12s. And none of them ever shot over 200, except the Desert Eagle, which I said 210 to 215. I was shocked. Now, on the site they list 220 to 230, and I'm like, I'm not seeing that. Even when, after I fixed it and put the 7.4 on it, I wasn't seeing that. Now, that particular gun didn't come with a mag. So I took a chance, and I got it to shoot. And I said, well, geez, do I really want to buy 2 mags and find out it's not feeding right? I said, the heck with it. I bought 2 mags, came in, gun shoots flawlessly, and like I said, 210 to 215. But it was so bulky. It's big grip, just like the M9 version. It's a big grip, big bulky thing. Taking it out for a game was fun, but it was actually unwieldy unless you had the right holster. These, even with this big flashlight on it, I have a holster that this fits into. It's not a problem. And if you're wondering about the holster that I have for these, even the long one like this, it is a flare pistol holster, a special leather one that I bought. It's over the shoulder, hangs to the right here, and then it has a strap that can go around your waist, or you clip it around your belt. I clip it around the belt. So then I'm cross-drawn. This pistol, it's on my body right here, basically hanging like right here. So I'm unsnapping and pulling it out and shooting it. Now, this was a great gun to have when I had my sniper rifle out, because my engaging distance was 100 feet or more, depending on what the FPS was with the rifle. These were fantastic because not only can I just go with like a single shot and take a guy down, but if I get a group of guys come on me before I can get away, and if I put the 50 round mag in, I can put burst down, take out a few guys at one shot. Not to mention actually even putting on the grenade launcher to take out some people, which I did at one game. I took out 4 guys, came over a barricade on the side, and shot back at 4 guys behind the barricade. Ref saw it. He called them out, even though they turned around and shot me. That was okay. I got them all. He called them out. That was good. So I'll show pictures at the end of this of the CM121, 23, and 25. Those are guns that I don't use anymore. I'm trying to get rid of them for sale. And like I said, I had 4 of these. I sold 2 of them. And I have other guys asking to buy these off me. And these are hard to get. You can find some boneyard ones and fix them up. And 90% of the boneyard ones that I've seen are either one of 2 things. The battery that comes with it is dead. The contacts have a problem. They're not getting any juice in here. So rewiring it to a smaller JSTN might work. Or the gearbox is shredded. You can pick up the gearboxes for like $30, $35 shipped. Dirt cheap, and it doesn't take long to replace them. And you'd be shocked that, like, you buy a boneyard gun. I bought one of these for $20. And it, like, you buy a gearbox for it, bang, slam, and you're good to go, another 30. You can't buy them new. There are a couple of spots that have them, but very expensive. They're like $100 some now. And the new I see the new TM1s that are out there. The TM ones are like $150, $175, and they're probably phenomenal guns, but I just can't see spending $175 on an electric pistol anymore. These two I will keep until they explode or burn up, and maybe I'll swap them out and fix them up, but I'm having a lot of fun with all my electric pistols. I had a lot of fun at a lot of games with them, and I have a lot of good memories of using it and shooting people with them. And they're a conversation piece when you go to a game and someone sees this and they think it's a Glock. It is like a 17 frame, but it looks a little weird, and they're like, you hand it to them and they're like, what is this? This doesn't. And they look at the mag, it's like, what is this? It's an electric pistol. And they shoot it, and they're instantly in love with it because it shoots full auto, which is nice. It's got a good rate of fire, and the BBs fly out there. They don't realize it's only shooting 200 FPS, but for some people, that's fantastic. I just sold one of the 4 to a squad leader that I know, and he wants to have it so that when he gets in close, he can shoot people and not worry about hurting somebody if he's dead on with somebody. It's a good thing to have, and that's what I use these for. These are my primarily go-to guns when I'm not doing it, when I'm out in the cold doing anything. So I hope you enjoyed this little reminiscence about my AEPs that I had, and I hope you enjoyed all the pictures and the upgrades and stuff like that. And if you have any questions or want to know how I did some of the stuff, feel free to leave me a note. And as always, you guys have a good day.